3 weeks before my friend Raymond died, he told me something I haven't been able to shake since. He said, "Peter, I spent my whole life saving up for a version of myself that never arrived." He was 71 years old, sitting in a hospital bed, and the look on his face wasn't sadness. It was something worse than sadness. It was the quiet, terrible realization that the waiting was over, and he had nothing to show for it. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me either. So today I want to talk about time. Not in the way people usually talk about it, clocks and calendars and hurry up. I want to talk about the quiet ways we give it away, without noticing, without meaning to, every single day. My name is Peter. I'm 73 years old, and I've made every mistake I'm about to describe, so you don't have to. I want to start with regret, because it's the thief nobody talks about. I had a colleague, Arthur, good man, worked alongside me for nearly 15 years. Every single time we had lunch together, without fail, the conversation would eventually drift back to the same place. A business he almost started in 1978, a bakery of all things. He'd had the premises lined up, the recipes, the savings, everything ready to go. And then, at the last moment, he pulled back. Too risky, he told himself. Too uncertain. Be sensible, Arthur. That was 1978. We had lunch together in 2003, in 2009, in 2014, and every single time, the bakery came up, as fresh and painful as if it had happened the week before. I remember asking him once, gently, I said, "Arthur, do you think you'd have been happy if you'd done it?" He went very quiet. Then he said, "I think about it every morning when I wake up, Peter." He died in 2019, 81 years old, and I genuinely believe he thought about that bakery, them, morning he died. Here is what I learned from Arthur, and what took me too long to understand in my own life. Regret feels like thinking. It feels useful, active, like you're doing something. But you're not. You're just paying interest on a debt that can never be collected. Every morning you wake up and replay it. That's a morning you gave away. Every evening you go to sleep still carrying it. That's an evening gone. Arthur didn't lose his life in 1978. He lost it one morning at a time for 40 years to a story he kept choosing to live inside. Whatever you're carrying, a relationship, a decision, a door you didn't walk through, I want to ask you one question, just one. How many more mornings are you willing to give it? The second way people give their time away is one I find almost heartbreaking, because it is so unnecessary. Living for other people's approval. Now, you'd think by 60, 70, 80 years old, people would have outgrown this. Most haven't. I hadn't. I always wanted to paint, watercolors specifically. My mother painted. There were always brushes and boards around the house when I was small, and something about it stayed with me. But I never did it. Decades passed. I'd think about it occasionally and then dismiss it. Too old for that now. What would people think? A man my age taking up watercolors? Bit silly, isn't it? My daughter Sarah, she was visiting one Sunday about 6 years ago, and I said something like that out loud, without really thinking. I said, "I always fancied trying painting, but I suppose it's a bit late for all that." She looked at me for a long moment. Then she said, "Dad, who told you that?" Just that. Who told you that? I didn't have an answer, because nobody had told me. I'd told myself. I'd been telling myself for 30 years, and I'd believed it completely. I enrolled in a class the following month. My first paintings were genuinely terrible. I mean, really quite bad. The teacher was very kind about it, which made it worse somehow. But here's what I didn't expect. I started looking forward to Tuesdays in a way I hadn't looked forward to anything in years. I made friends, proper ones, people I still speak to now. I started waking up with something to think about other than aches and appointments. 6 months of bad watercolors gave me more joy than 6 years of being sensible. The limits we live inside, most of them aren't locked doors. They're fences we built ourselves and then forgot we built them. Is there something you keep putting off because of what someone might think? I want you to really sit with that. Because the people whose opinion you fear are almost certainly far too busy worrying about their own lives to spend much time judging yours. The third thing, and this one I see in people my age more than anything else, waiting. Waiting for life to become good enough to enjoy it. Waiting for the health to improve, the money to settle, the children to call more, the house to be sorted, the right moment. Waiting for permission from life before allowing themselves to be happy. My Margaret, before she passed, she used to say something her mother had told her. She'd say, "The table is never perfectly set, Peter. Eat anyway." I didn't really understand that until I was in my 60s. There was a woman in our village, Joan, lovely woman, sharp mind, warm heart. She'd had a falling out with her daughter about 15 years before I knew her, a real one. Serious. The daughter had stopped calling, stopped visiting. Letters went unanswered. Birthdays passed in silence. And Joan, without meaning to, without realizing, had built her entire remaining life around that one wound. Every conversation came back to it. Every plan was conditional on it. When my daughter and I sort things out, when she comes back, then I'll feel like myself again. She was waiting for one person to give her permission to live. I watched her miss years, good years. Years she could have been laughing with friends, doing things she loved, building a life that was full on its own terms. Instead, she sat by the phone. Then something happened that none of us expected. She stopped waiting. Not dramatically, not a decision she announced. She just, quietly, turned back toward life. Started going to things, saying yes instead of not yet. Found a group who walked every Thursday morning, started baking again, laughed properly for the first time in years at something that had nothing to do with her daughter at all. 3 months later, her daughter rang. I don't know what changed for the daughter. I never asked. But I have a theory. Sometimes the people we're waiting for only find their way back when we stop making our entire life a monument to waiting for them. Gratitude is not something you feel after life gets easier. Gratitude is the thing that makes life feel lighter. The last story. This one I've thought about more than almost anything in my life. My parents, married 48 years. My mother wanted one thing. One specific thing she'd talked about since before I was born. She wanted to see the Scottish Highlands. She'd seen pictures as a girl, read about them, dreamed about them. It wasn't extravagant, it wasn't expensive, it was just the Highlands. Every year my father said the same thing. Next year, Dot, when the car's sorted, when work settles down, when the kids are older, when we've got a bit more saved. Next year. Their favorite sentence. When my mother was 74, she was diagnosed, and suddenly there was no guarantee of next year. My father drove them up, 7 hours. She wasn't well, but she stood at the edge of a glen in the late afternoon light, the mountains, the sky, the silence, and she wept. Not from sadness, from something I describe as the relief of finally arriving somewhere you've been trying to get to your whole life. She turned to my father and asked him one question. "Why did we wait so long, love?" He never answered, because there was no good answer. There never is. She passed 8 months later. My father told me, and I believe him completely, that those 2 days in Scotland were the best 2 days of their marriage. Not because anything magical happened, because they finally stopped treating joy like something to be earned later. Maybe you have a Highlands too. Maybe it's not a place, Maybe it's a phone call you've been putting off, a person you haven't told how much they matter, a thing you've been saving for the right moment that keeps not arriving. The calendar does not negotiate. Time does not slow down because we aren't ready. So, eat the good meal. Take the trip. Watch the sunset instead of saving it for a better evening. Call the friend. Say the thing. Start the thing. Because I can tell you, at 73, with everything I've seen and lost and learned, the richest people I have ever known were not the ones with the most. They were the ones who collected the most moments while they still could. Tell me your age in the comments, and tell me, what is the thing you've been postponing? The trip, the conversation, the project, the dream? Write it down. Just that one thing. Because sometimes, naming it out loud is the first real step toward it. If this video found you at the right moment, share it with someone who needs it. You probably already know who that person is. Subscribe. Stay with me. I've got more of these in me, and I'd rather share them with people who are actually listening. I'm Peter. I'll see you in the next one.